Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States.
Thank you all. Thank you all very much. Please be seated.
Well, welcome, Mr. President. On behalf of the student staff and our guests, we would like to thank you for coming this afternoon. We work very hard here at P.R. Laclede Elementary School. Our mission is to effectively educate every boy and girl, and we thank you in your efforts of recognizing our achievement with the No Child Left Behind initiative.
Well, I'm glad to be here, Madam Principal. One of the things you find in a successful school is a strong-willed, smart, capable principal. Mm-hmm. And that's obviously the case here. And I appreciate your hospitality. I'm here at Laclede because this is a school that has defied expectations. It's defied expectations by raising the bar and believing that every child can learn. That's not the case in some parts of our country, unfortunately. In some parts of the country, schools just shuffle kids through. And that's not right. That's not the American way. This school is a school that has performed, you'd have to say, brilliantly. Since 1999, 7% of the kids could read, and now 80% can read at grade level in the third grade. That speaks to strong principals. It speaks to really good teachers. It says this school's got teachers that believe in the capability of every child. It says the school has raised standards and is not afraid to measure. And see, one of the things I'm here to talk about is the No Child Left Behind Act. Laclede has been named a blue ribbon No Child Left Behind school. And the inherent in this No Child Left Behind Act is the desire to spend federal money and spend it wisely. We've increased budgets. The Title I money is up by 43% since 2001. The 41%. The teacher training money is up. The reading program money is up by 4 times. But finally, the federal government has said, why don't you show us whether or not that money is being well spent? Show us whether or not you believe every child can learn. Show us whether or not objectives are being met. And this is exactly what's happening here at Laclede, as I was reminded. Laclede was doing this before No Child Left Behind Act was passed. Joyce was quick to point it out. She may point it out again. But the important thing is, inherent in the No Child Left Behind Act was not only a desire to measure, the need to measure, the need to show, the need to track each child, but it's also the trust of local people to make the right decisions. See, you can't have a system that meets objectives if you're hamstrung by federal rules and regulations. And so inherent in the No Child Left Behind Act is trust. Mm-hmm. Trust of the principals, trust of the teachers, trust of the parents, trust of the local officials like Speaker Hanaway and Peter Kinder from the State House and State Senate who are with us. I want to thank you for coming, by the way. I appreciate all the state officials who are here. I know we've got some school board officials. You got the ball in terms of how to achieve excellence. It's up to you. The federal government's a source of money. It's now a source of inspiration. It's a source of measurement. But it's up to the local people to really make it work. I also appreciate so very much that Senator Jim Talon is with us. Senator, thank you for coming. Congresswoman Joanne Emerson and Kenny Hulshoff, and of course Congressman Lacey Clay, whose district we're in. Congressman, thank you very much for joining us today. I went into a classroom of 4th graders. I asked this question. I said, how many of you are going to go to college? You'll be happy to hear that every hand went up. That's a good sign. They were also doing something that was fundamentally important. They were practicing their reading. I also asked the question, how many of you read more than you watch TV? About 50% of the hands went up. But what's important is for schools like around the country to understand what's happening here, and that is that the people here use reading programs based upon what works, not what sounds good. Reading programs based upon the science of reading. And it's working. And so I'm here to congratulate this school and to really hold you up for the nation to see what is possible when you raise the bar, when you're not afraid to hold people to account, when you empower your teachers and your principals to achieve the objective we all want. That's to make sure no child, not one single child in America, is left behind. I'm honored to be here at this blue ribbon school, and I appreciate your time, and I look forward to hearing from you.
Okay. I would like to acknowledge our panel, Ms. Audrey Ferguson, Title I math teacher, Regina Davis, Pierre Leclerc parent, Joyce Roberts, middle school executive director and former principal of Pierre Leclerc Elementary School, and to our left we have Rita Robinson, fourth grade teacher here at Pierre Leclerc Elementary School. I would also like to acknowledge in the audience our superintendent, Mr. William Roberti, our deputy superintendent, Mr. David Fleig, and President of the Board of Education, Dornetta Clinkscale.
Yeah, they say the president of the board that may be the hardest job in America. Am I right? Thank you all for coming.
Now, Mr. President, I have a twofold here. I was previously the second grade teacher for 5 years here at Pierre Leclerc Elementary School, and now I'm in the position of the administrator. And we are advocates of the No Child Left Behind Act. We really believe in it, and our efforts in educating the children, all the strategies that we're going to talk about on the panel, is to make sure that we do not leave any children behind, that they all are reading on grade level by the time they get to third grade and or above, and that they are successful in whatever they decide to do.
That's right. We can hear from some of our panelists. Who you want to start with?
Let's start with Ms. Roberts.
I'd like to share with you, Mr. President, that the Leclerc story was 10 years in the making, that it began with a commitment to excellence for all boys and girls embedded in Ron Edmonds' work, that all children can learn. It begins with having strong administrative leadership and instructional focus, a positive school climate. And as you entered and our guest entered this school today, you recognized and could feel that there's two things going on in this building, and that is powerful learning and powerful teaching. And that grew out of the effective and efficient schools model. The staff was trained in that. We also worked very hard to include all of our boys and girls in reading. Technology was really not a part of our work. Last year, we were able to bring on board technology to support that in the form of the Waterford Early Reading Program. We really do believe that when children start early, they can be really successful. I, too, would like to acknowledge that when I came here 10 years ago, I was given a charge of taking a good school and making it a better school. And we've defied the odds in taking a good school, not only making it a better school, but turning it into one of the best in the nation. And that took a commitment. That was a personal commitment from myself, also engaging the parents and being embraced by the community.
Yeah. Well, good job. It's when you go from 7% to 80%, something to be really proud of.
Thank you.
It's really important. Of course, we're going to work on the other 20%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. I am Audrey Ferguson, the 2002-2003 Missouri Teacher of the Year,
Yes.
and we met last
I
spring
did meet. Tell them where we met.
at your house,
Actually, it's our house.
and I invited you to come and visit us at Leclerc.
Yes, you did. And it just goes to show I listened, doesn't it?
Yes, we're quite honored. I have been a teacher for the St. Louis Public Schools for 34 years. 28 of those years here at Laclede School. I am a Title I math teacher, and so I am federally paid by the Title I funds. I serve as the chairperson of the academic committee and have been in that position for about 15 years. I am also the chairperson of the summer planning committee. At Laclede, when you signed into law the No Child Left Behind bill, we asked ourselves, what was our role in that? What did the No Child Left Behind bill mean to us as teachers, as a school in the inner city, as the state in the state? We feel that that bill, the No Child Left Behind bill, means that we must have in place an assessment program that immediately identifies children at risk for learning. We feel that the program means that we need to have an effective intervention plan so that we can meet the needs of at-risk children. We feel that we need an excellent professional development program so every teacher will be highly qualified and equipped with the skills that they need in order to address their children, the children that come to them. We also know that the No Child Left Behind bill, responsibility and accountability must be shared. It's shared with our community, it is shared with our state, and it is shared with the federal government. We must have the supplies and the materials and the technology we need. So therefore, we all share in the responsibility. Also sharing in the responsibility are our parents and the children. The parents have the responsibility of preparing their children so that they are ready to learn when they get here. And the children have the responsibility of coming to school every day ready to learn. Our response at Laclede directly, our summer planning committee this summer, we had already in place a pre-post testing. Mrs. Roberts alluded to that. We test every child in September, so we identify our at-risk children. We now this summer developed our No Child Left Behind monitoring program. Every teacher has this notebook, and in it we are tracking the progress of all our children. Mr. President, we are ready to do our part.
Yeah, you are. Listen,
Yes.
one of the things you hear, of course, is that you can't test kids, see? You can't test. We test too much. How do you know if a child isn't reading if you don't test? How do you know who needs help? I mean, if the idea is to make sure not one child is left behind, you better test. Test isn't a punishment. You know, it's not to punish anybody. Test is to determine who needs extra help. And that's exactly why Laclede is doing well, I'm convinced, or one of the main reasons why. They've got a book here that says every child matters, every child can learn, and therefore we're going to measure as to whether or not we're meeting expectations for every child, not a few of the children, but every child. And so when you hear this talk about testing is bad, testing is, teach the test. What testing does and what measuring does is determines whether or not every child is learning. And if not, whether that child is getting the help he or she needs early before it is too late. We've got to stop this business about just shuffling kids through the schools in America. We've got to stop social promotion and focus on whether or not each child is getting the instruction he or she needs. And that's exactly what this book says. And that's why I'm here at Laclede to tout this program, because you're making great sense.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. My name is Weta Robinson, fourth grade teacher, and one of my jobs at the school is to teach, and I love teaching, but I'm also on the school planning committee. And on the school planning committee, I have the job of organizing professional development for the teachers. And what we do on the committee is we look at the state assessment and the school assessment results. And from there, we determine the appropriate professional development that we would need in order for the students to advance. We also look at that material and we decide on professional development programs that would help the teachers, help them as far as improving their instructional skills. We assess the strengths and the weaknesses from the test data, and we organize the professional development programs. Also, we give the teachers a survey. And on the survey at the end of the year, they indicate the type of professional development in which they would like to have. We compile a list and we have them have those types of professional development. I think that the professional development helps the teachers in order to enhance their teaching, and also they know what strengths and weaknesses they need to work with for the children and for their teaching.
Well, yeah, I think it's important. The federal government can help, and we have. I think we've increased the teacher training and recruitment budget significantly, like by about 40% since 2001. And that's important to make sure teachers have the skills necessary to be able to teach. I mean, it's one thing to have a good heart. It's another thing to be able to, to have the skills necessary to match the good heart with the capacity to pass on knowledge. And so the federal government is helping on teacher recruitment, teacher training, and that's an important aspect of the No Child Left Behind Act. It's essential that we continue to monitor what works, whether the curriculum you're using makes sense. That's what measurement helps a school to understand, and whether or not a teacher needs a little extra help in order to be able to impart the knowledge that he or she is desirous of doing. I know we got a parent here. By the way, the first teacher of any child is a mom and her dad.
That's right.
And it's this parent right here is a good teacher. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Regina Davis. I'm a mother of two, Robert Davis and Rihanna Davis. Robert attended Laclede from preschool through 5th grade. He was a perfect attendance and honor roll student the whole time that he was here. My daughter Rihanna Davis is currently in the 5th. My daughter Rihanna Davis is currently in the 5th grade now.
She's great.
What I like about Laclede is that by education being an important factor in my family, Laclede has set and laid the foundation for education gearing towards reading, writing, and arithmetic, and especially reading, because reading is the muscle and the strength of the brain.
Yeah.
If you read, you can achieve. With achievement comes attitude, and if you have the attitude, then you've been in attendance. And that is our motto here: attendance, achievement, attitude. Think you can, work hard, get smart. The teachers here at Laclede are very dedicated to the children, and they keep you abreast of where your child is at all times in education so that you can get the proper help that you need, if necessary, to keep that child where he needs to be at all times. I am also a school crossing guard and the latchkey teacher. Latchkey here at Laclede is a program that offers parents that work and go to school to get their kids in the program, and allows the kids to come to school earlier and stay later than other children. And we help them with their homework. We have planned educational activities and field trips. We also offer them a small snack in the evening until they get home for dinner. Before coming aboard to Laclede, I was a parent volunteer, in which I went on field trips with my children and helped out wherever needed to be at any given time. I'd like to thank Mrs. Roberts for asking me to come aboard as a staff member and a parent volunteer, and also Mrs. Moss for allowing me to be a part of this special day here with you, Mr. President. And this is a day that I will truly never forget.
Well, very well done.
Thank you.
That was well done. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm not going to forget it either. Speaking about volunteers, one of the really true strengths of our country is the heart and soul of the American people. Today with us, I met a fella at the airport who's now with us here today. His name is Jeff Tank. You probably never heard of Jeff. He is a volunteer with Big Brothers and Big Sisters. January happens to be National Mentoring Month. Where are you, Jeff? There he is. Jeff, by the way, when I went to the airport, he said, "This isn't about recognizing me." I said, "Yeah, it is." Because you represent a lot of other good people who are taking time out of your lives to make a difference in a child's life. Schools need volunteers. Schools need mentors. Big Brothers and Big Sisters is a fabulous program that provides that kind of that provides that kind of mentoring and help. Whether you're the superintendent of schools or the chairman of the school board or the president, we all need to be out encouraging people to volunteer. I always say that part of ushering in a era of personal responsibility means that people have to be responsible for the communities, or for the schools and the community in which they live. You just can't trust that some faraway government is going to make the correct decisions for the local communities. And if you're interested in the quality of education and you're paying attention to what you hear at Laclede, why don't you volunteer? Why don't you help mentor a child how to read? Why don't you join us all in changing America one child at a time? And so, Jeff, I want to thank you for coming. I want to thank you for the example you have set for others in the community of St. Louis, and hope that others will follow your example. And a great place to start to volunteer is to show up at a local public school and ask the principal what you can do to help change a child's life. So thank you for reminding me about the importance of being a good mom and a great volunteer as well. Listen, making sure every child learns to read and making sure every child is educated is the #1 domestic priority of this country. It is essential we get it right. Laclede Elementary School shatters stereotypes. It shows that we can have excellence in every single classroom across this country. That it's not just suburban America where we find excellence. You can find excellence in inner city America. You find excellence in rural America. You find excellence where you've got great principals and teachers and leadership willing to raise the standards, willing to challenge every child because you believe in every child. You find excellence where you're willing to measure and then correct when things aren't going the way they should. You find excellence when you've got skilled teachers carrying around a book that measures the ability of each child, not a collection of children, but every child, and so that you can then qualify the curriculum to meet the needs of that child. And I am here for the simple reason to show what is possible all across America. And what is possible is to take reading scores from 7% to 80% in places like St. Louis, Missouri, and elsewhere. I want to congratulate you for setting the standard and keep raising the bar. Make sure that other 20% gets up to grade level at 3rd grade. I know you will. And you will have done your duty as educators and Americans to make sure that our children, the very future of the country, have got the capacity to succeed in the greatest land on the face of the earth. Thank you all for coming. God bless.